Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. You know what? There you go, sir. Now you know what it is here.
Boom!
We're always ready. You know what? It's not like we don't have 45 or 50 seconds.
I just want to show off my button pushing abilities. I just want to show off.
What? It was a little bit stretching too, right? We wanted to see Drive Safe Dave stretch, and what a better time than to bring in Dr. Mark Manera to witness that. And I need to be graded. Can you grade Drive Safe Dave on that stretchability right there?
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, baby. That's the best score I've had in years.
I've not been described as a junkie before on national podcast stuff. I go with coach more than guru or junkie, but whatever you want to describe me as.
We'll go. You know what? Yeah, you're a doctor. I mean, let's just give you the respect that you deserve. Doctor, junkie. There's a difference on that. So yeah. So here we go, doctor. We're going to talk about this. So talk to us a little bit about what you're doing out there for the trucking industry.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and I'm also the founder and CEO of the Trucking Fitness Company. And we really specialize in exercise, nutrition, and accountability coaching for drivers, and then other people within the supply chain as well.
Did you and how did you, Mark? Tell us some more about why you saw a need for this industry. I mean, really, you didn't just jump out. You saw a need. Tell us how you got started there.
Yeah, so I was working in a physical therapy clinic. I'm home base for me is St. Louis, so I was in southern Missouri and working in a physical therapy clinic, and I was working with drivers firsthand and honestly saw the struggle. And for a lot of the drivers that I was working with, their health was one of the bottom for underlying reasons why they were in the clinic in the first place. And I really was just inspired by a couple of those drivers that I worked with, and I said, hey, someone needs to do this. And I said, why can't I? So I jumped in and I started the Trucking Fitness Company.
Yeah, 1 out of 7 drivers, they say, have type 2 diabetes, and truck drivers are 11 more times likely to die on the job than average profession as well. Doctor, when we see the drivers out there today, and that's who we talk to. It's these drivers. How do we keep them healthy? I mean, let's face it. They're driving all day. Next to them is not going to be a thing of grapes. It's going to be some chips. It's going to be something easy to reach in, something that can maybe even make me feel like it's keeping me awake. How do you change that habit?
Yeah, well, grapes can be sitting next to you. You just have to decide to put them there. But what I will say is I think that a lot of drivers have this all or nothing mindset. So I look at it like a light switch. You got to flip it. You flip it on and you're the healthiest person in the world, or you flip it off and you don't care. You're calling up Krispy Kreme and you're just going to town. And I think that is the wrong mindset to have when it comes to trying to live a healthier lifestyle. And what I try to tell drivers is, let's look at it as a spectrum. And on one end of the spectrum, you've got the healthiest diet, best workout program in the world. And on the other side is you don't move all day and you eat, Big Macs and Whoppers all day. And most people are probably somewhere in the middle, right? Maybe some closer to that healthy side, maybe some closer to that unhealthy side. But instead of saying, hey, if I want to start something, live a healthier life, I need to jump all the way over to that healthy end of the spectrum. Let's just focus on, some of the low-hanging fruit that's in anyone's life and just making 1 or 2 changes that just pushes the needle a little bit closer to that healthy side. And what I've found is that a lot of drivers can be really surprised what small changes done over a consistent period of time can do to their health, how they feel, weight loss, controlling their blood sugar if they're diabetic, and in just kind of all-around health.
Doctor, I do have a question. So for the Coca-Cola, the Dr. Pepper drinker out there, you're saying, hey, you don't have to go straight to water, straight to Gatorade Zero. You're saying that maybe it's the diet form?
Yeah. So I think that there's a couple of approaches you can take. So if you're drinking 10 sodas a day, let's just be ridiculous, but there are drivers out there who are doing this. Maybe step 1 is going to 8 sodas. Right? And just slowly cutting that down, or going to 8 sodas and 2 diet Dr. Peppers, right? And I think that the transition there from, I think there's a stigma on diet sodas and aspartame, and I've looked into some of the research, and that's a topic for another conversation. But I think it's a great transition and a great period. I drink diet sodas. Rick, I saw you were drinking a diet zero, Coke Zero.
Coke
There's
Zero.
nothing wrong with that. And I think that the biggest thing is when you're drinking those sodas that have 40 grams of sugar and 12 ounces, and they just keep stacking up, and it's just really hard to lose weight and control your diabetes if you're consuming that much sugar and that many calories just from your drinks.
And we talk about it. Just let me ask you a question, Dar. And I think some of the hard parts is about a driver, having been one, is you're sitting for such a long period of time, right? Exercise, and let me just tell you, the stress is unbelievable behind the wheel. And when you're done driving for 10 hours, you're worn out. You're exhausted, both mentally
drained,
and physically, because of the tension and the stress and all of that goes along with it. How is exercise possible? I mean, genuinely, how do you motivate yourself to get exercise in there?
Yeah, so I think the first part is setting it up where you can do it anywhere at any time. If you have to say, hey, I need to find a gym, okay, now I have to come up with my workout equipment or workout routine. I have to, like you said, find something that I can park my semi at. It's probably just not going to happen. But if you can set it up where, hey, I'm waiting for my next load, or I'm at the truck stop, or I've got 5 minutes left in my mandatory break, I'm going to do something, and you can just pull up. We have an app right on the driver's phone, or you just pull up in general, and you've got a different program.
Okay, doctor, we're glad we got you back. We know we dropped you. We were sitting here talking about creating new habits. Can you jump in on that?
Yeah, I think that it's like 80% of the things you do on a day-to-day basis are habit-based. And I think that there's a lot of really, from a health and fitness perspective, there's a lot of small habits that can be put into your day-to-day life that, like I said, push that needle a little bit closer to the healthy end of the spectrum, but doesn't change your day-to-day life that crazy. And so, an example of that was kind of what Rick mentioned there of, stop drinking your calories. Switch from zero, from drinking a bunch of soda to going to diet soda or other 0-calorie beverages, or get outside and go for a walk for 10 minutes, and finding just ways that you're making these small changes, and a lot of them are habit based, but you can just fit them into your day, and it's not flipping your whole day 180 over and changing everything at once.
So I'm gonna ask you, doctor, real quick, and I'm gonna jump in. There's some, and I have the same issues. I have the same problems. There's some mental roadblocks that I have to get past. I'm just gonna tell you, how as a coach do you bust those mental roadblocks that I have personally, that I've developed over 55 years of living?
Those mental roadblocks, and I know you know this, are, man, I've been eating right for 3 days, for 2 days. I don't feel any better. I look the same. I mean, it's not working.
Yeah.
How do you get somebody through that? And I'm listening to you because I need that help as well.
Well, I think it's probably, I think you guys both would agree that most people know what they should be doing from an exercise and nutrition standpoint to lose weight, to feel better, and be on that healthier end of the spectrum. But for a lot of people, they're lacking that accountability. And also they're lacking that, having someone on their team that they can go to, ask questions, that can push them a little bit, like you said, and, honestly set goals, and then go the next step and say, hey, you have these goals. Let's set expectations of, that 50 pounds didn't, you didn't put that 50 pounds on in the last month, so it's going to take a little bit longer for it to come off as well, right? And so I think the biggest thing is for having a coach is, building that relationship with each driver, and then being able to set those expectations and set goals based off of long term, if it's, wanting to lose 20 pounds, if it's wanting to control diabetes, whatever that goal is, and then setting another goal, which is, okay, if you're wanting to achieve that long-term goal, let's set an action-based goal. And, this is going to be something you have to consistently do. And let's find something that is realistic and fits into your day-to-day life that, might push you a little bit, but you can do it out on the road, and you can do it consistently. And then have someone to hold you accountable to that and be like, hey, Dave, you dropped the ball. Let's get back on the right path.
But, doctor, what about the driver that's not working the normal hours? I understand most of them are off a little bit, right? My break, I'm ready to go at 3 in the morning. Are you telling me there's a coach for me that early in the morning?
Yeah, so everything is through an app, and it's we've got 24/7 access. They can message a coach. We've got hours, and our workouts are not a go on Zoom and it's a live call. The workouts are personalized to them. They click on it. We've got video and written instruction on exactly what to do. They follow along, and we've got programs they can do in their truck, outside of their truck, or at home, depending on where they prefer. And then we also personalize it to their current fitness level. So the workouts are available 24/7. It fits into your schedule, and then the coaching aspect is whenever you have questions, or we do a weekly check-in when we reach out. And we also have a community of our drivers that you can participate in. And I'm sure just as well as me, sometimes those Facebook communities are not the most positive environment for drivers. So we try to have a positive environment where drivers are encouraging each other.
Hey, so I'm out. Hold on. So I'm out. I'm doing my pre-trip right now. Do you have exercises built around my daily functionalities as a driver? I got to do a pre. I have to do a post. I might as well get another 20 minutes because it should take you 10 minutes to do that pre-trip. 15 minutes. So are you putting things involved in my job as well to make me, I'm already doing the job, and now I can get some exercise in as well?
Yeah, so the workouts are all around the truck. So if you're out of your truck doing the pre-trip and you say, hey, I got 10 minutes, let me open it up, we got something that you can do right there outside of your truck. We give you all the exercise equipment you need. We give everyone a resistance band so they can easily store it in their truck. And from a safety perspective, they don't have a 20-pound dumbbell laying in the back of their truck if something crazy happens that's flying through the air during an accident or something like that. So we really just try to cut away as many barriers that have stopped drivers from exercising and eating healthy, as possible, and just make it as easy for them to get started. And I think that's the big key.
What do some of them look like? Rick's talking about them. You're talking about what do a couple of them look like? Because what a couple of the exercises look like, and also feed into how we get to some of this stuff. We want to find out about you and where
we're role playing here. So we wake up. We're in the truck right now.
What do we like? That's why we're out of our chairs.
Okay.
We're ready to get going today.
So we can go from push-ups, incline push-ups against your truck. We can do step-ups. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. There you go. Yeah. Step-ups on your truck, on the truck ladder where you're stepping up, stepping down. You're doing air squats outside your truck. If you want to get crazy, you can go do jog or walk around the truck. You can do a ton of resistance band exercises, attaching it to the truck, standing on the resistance band, doing a bunch of the stuff, and very similar exercises in the truck with, inclines against your bed if you've got a bunk, or doing sit to stands out in the back. And, I think the biggest thing that we are, trying to do is just show drivers it's possible. And you can do it in the environment you're already in, which is something that a lot of drivers don't have that mindset because they think, hey, I need to go find a gym.
So exercise and fatigue, there's an obvious correlation to that. Talk to me about what that exercise does to maybe not make me as fatigued when I'm driving.
Yeah, there's a million benefits from exercise, short-term and long-term, but I think one of the things that I hear drivers say all the time is just within the first couple of days, I feel more energized. And I feel more alert. I feel locked in. I feel more. If they work out in the morning, they feel more awake throughout the day. And I think that especially when you look at some of the research, there is some correlation between driver fatigue and how fit that driver is. And they actually did a study where they looked at new drivers coming into the industry, and they found that if the driver had a BMI of over, I believe it was 30 or 35, that they had 50% higher chance of being involved in an accident in the first 2 years of driving. And so there is a correlation. And if you are not fit to drive and you're not, focusing on your health, you're not going to be as locked in behind the wheel as you could be. And I'm not saying if you're unhealthy, you're an unsafe driver, but what I'm saying is the healthier version of yourself is a safer driver.
That's a great point. And also, I just wanted to ask, when you exercise and you get this exercise a little bit and you do a little bit better, you sleep a little bit better, right? Because I'll tell you right now, I'm a horrible sleeper sometimes, and a lot of it has to do with by the end of the week when I've been at my desk for a long time or I haven't done a lot of activity, I don't sleep as well, or I'm under a lot of stress. I don't sleep as well as if I would the other way, correct?
100%. I think there's a correlation with sleep. there's a correlation of just how you feel and feeling less blah, and that goes into some of the nutrition changes as well. But I think it's kind of crazy how much of a all around effect that exercise can have, especially if you get into the habit of doing it.
Doctor, on Wednesday, I'm going to ask you maybe around 7:25ish. I'm going to ask you to try to join BCB Live because we're going to have our gentleman from Loves on the show. And that gives him a chance to get ready because, there's one problem out there is that, my goodness, to eat healthy, it's a little bit more expensive. If only, Dave, there was a way to get our drivers involved at some of these fuel places to perhaps team with somebody like yourself to get a discount for eating healthy.
Yeah, I mean, make you know what? It pay to make good choices, right? I mean, and I think that hits everybody. If it hits in the pocketbook the right way, because everybody knows, and Doctor, you've heard this, it costs a lot of money to eat very healthy. It's very inexpensive to go to the dollar menu, right? I can go to the dollar menu.
Doctor, we eat cheap here, you can see.
We eat cheap. but our point is, it seems like it should be just the same. We should be able to be rewarded financially for going out and make good decisions as well.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, and I would love to talk to Loves or TA or anyone out there. And I think the biggest thing is, even what I've seen is, we've got truck stop guides that help drivers find the healthiest options out there. But when you go into a Loves, it's a scavenger hunt just to find those healthy options. And I think step one might be, hey, let's have a trucking fitness company section where we've got healthy options that they can go to and pick.
I like that.
It doesn't cost them anything, right? I think that's step one. And then we can talk about, hey, what can we do on our end to, reward drivers for picking those healthier options. I completely agree.
Yeah, and there's just ways out there that we all can get behind these drivers because they need our support. There's, they've got to have healthier, they got to have better options out there. They've got to have people like yourselves, your company, that does a little coaching, does a little encouragement for them as well. And even the trucking companies, you know what? We have also got to get behind this cause to find a way to get our drivers a little bit healthier because it's a fact. I mean, we are just an unhealthy market. We're an unhealthy, eat all the way around we are, even inside the office.
It just is. We're not healthy in here either. We don't make great choices in here when we bring in.
In this profession, as a truck driver or anybody in logistics, you take this job home with you. And you just do. And the stress that goes around with it. And that, Mark, is even to the dispatcher behind the scene. When a driver just doesn't move for whatever reason, the shipper was closed, something happened, they inside don't feel good. They take that stress home. The driver as well is stressed out right there because it's financially hurting them. It creates stress. And for many of us, when we stress, we eat. Right?
Oh, yep.
We've got to find ways around that.
Yeah, and I completely agree, and that's what we're seeing on our end too, and that's why the first year and a half of our company was really focused on just the driver, and now from a cultural standpoint and also just the whole industry, we're wanting to build out programs, and we're starting to build out programs for everyone under the umbrella of the supply chain, so we can all start speaking the same language, and from a supply chain trucking industry as a whole, we can start to make that cultural shift.
So, Doctor, and here we are. How do we get a hold of this app you're talking about? How do we get a hold of you, and how do we get a hold of this app? We want to know more about it. How do we find out?
All right.
On any social media, or you go to truckingfit.com. You can set up a call if you're a trucking company. You can work with your organization, or if you're an individual driver, you can sign up as well.
Truckingfit.com, correct?
Yep.
And if you're a driver out there and talk to your company, get them behind this as well. They as well can look at truckingfit.com. What can we it's time to dance. What can we as an industry do? You know what, Mark? We got a light thing. It just starts flashing lights at us, and we made a rule.
No worries.
Whenever it happens, we got to dance. So no matter what. But here we go. Get behind what you're doing out there, Mark. Listen. We love what you're doing. We love the fact that you're out there taking care of our heroes. And those are our truck drivers, trying to find ways to make them healthier. I love your attitude. I love the way you're encouraging them. I like the way that you're not saying it's all in or nothing. You're not out there pounding your chest and, yelling at him. Come on, loser! You're not eating them chips. You know, I love what you're doing out there. Hey, doctor, thank you for being on the show. I'm going to send you a link for Wednesday if you can get on. We're going to have a little heart-to-heart with Loves. We've got him in here. We might as well take advantage of that. Before we get out of here, go ahead one more time, introduce your company, and then we're going to ask you to state your name. You know, and you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Yeah, so my name is Dr. Mark Manera. I'm the founder and CEO of the Trucking Fitness Company, and you're watching BCB Live, the safest nation. Oh my gosh, the safest station in the nation. And after those push-ups, soon to be the healthiest station in the nation.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much.
He renamed us. I like it. Hey, doctor, thanks a lot. Be safe out there, and thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me.